From the studios of the Brooklyn College radio station, this is Beyond the Box Score. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beyond the Box Score. It is a sunny Monday, April 8th, 2024. I'm your host, Max, here with my co-hosts, Sean and Oscar. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing great, man.
Doing good.
I'm glad to be back here with you guys.
Yeah?
Hopefully we don't get blinded today by the sun.
Right. We got the solar eclipse.
Yep.
Got an earthquake. Was it Friday? Eventful weekend. All right.
Real alphas stare directly into the eclipse.
Yeah.
That's
we
right.
We run towards it.
That's right. We're going to start with some NFL free agency news. Last week, the story broke that the Texans are trading for four-time Pro Bowler Stephon Diggs. The Bills, in return, will get a 2025 second-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you guys, but I don't think this trade came out of nowhere. You know, Diggs has been pretty active on social media. It's clear that he was frustrated with the Bills organization, with his amount of targets, you know, with how their seasons have ended the past couple of years. And now Diggs goes to a very talented Texans offense. You got the Offensive Rookie of the Year in C.J. Stroud, who's only going to get better. Same with Tank Dell. Nico Collins is there. Dalton Schultz. They acquired Joe Mixon this offseason. So, yeah, what do you guys think?
Do you want to talk about the Texans or the Bills?
Yeah, let's do the Texans side first.
All right, awesome. Well, Houston's doing its best to maximize C.J. Stroud's rookie contract. That's what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's smart. And so I think this is really interesting for both the Texans and Stephon Diggs. So right now, Stephon Diggs, he's getting an increased salary from $8.5 million next year. He was what he would have been making on the Bills. Now he's going to be making a little over $22 million because they're condensing his contract essentially. So after this upcoming season, by most reports I've been reading, he will be a free agent instead of becoming a free agent. And I think it was either 2025 or 2026, maybe even 2027. I think it was 2027.
I believe it is 27, yeah.
But now he's going to be a free agent next summer. So this is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. This is him. This is a really, for the Texans, this is extremely low risk and high reward.
Yeah.
Because now you've got three good receivers, and for this developing quarterback who's already top 10 in this league, I think he could become top 5 the next few years. That's not outside the question.
Mm-hmm. And Diggs is now going to be playing for a contract, so that's just extra incentive.
Exactly. And it's very I like it from Stephon Diggs though. He's coming out here. He's like, nah, I'm still him. I don't need contract security. I'm going to make a big bag this year, and then I'm going to go get another one.
Yeah.
It's interesting because C.J. Stroud, in a way, not only like Oscar said, are they maximizing his rookie contract, but he kind of has weapons at every corner you turn to.
Right.
You have a great tight ends, great wide receivers, great running backs. He has everything they need to be a great team, and he delivered last season, and I feel like he's going to have a great shot at delivering again. I think he'll follow through on that promise, and they're 100% going to be a playoff team, unless there's like some injury stuff that goes down. But the future is bright for Houston, and the future is bright for their star quarterback, C.J. Stroud.
It is pretty outstanding in how they just completely turned this organization around in basically a year's time. Do you guys think this move pushes them over the hump because they were a playoff team last year? They beat Cleveland, but fell to Baltimore. Do you think this makes them a championship contender?
No. No. I need to see more from this team. No, I still want to see how the offense actually works and looks. I'm interested to see how. Because right now, if you ask me, in my humble opinion, Stephon Diggs is receiver 2 on this team, so I want to see how he fits into that. Nico Collins is better than him right now, if you ask me. He's also significantly younger. He had better stats than him last year in almost every category. So I want to see that. I want to see how if he's cool with not always getting the main share of targets each game.
If Diggs has a really just monster season, then this team, I could see them not at a championship level, but in the upper echelon of like the middle of the pack.
Yeah, if there's no diva, you know
Exactly,
what I mean?
yeah.
There's no
If everyone just buys in.
yeah, selfishness as far as targets, I think that'll be all right. Because you're right, you know, you're sharing that wide receiver core with Tank Dell and Collins and Schultz. So you're not always going to get the ball, and it's up to him to be cool with that. Let's switch to the Bills side of things. So Diggs is going to be a $31 million dead cap hit this year, which is the highest known dead money charge for a receiver in any season all time. Obviously, so with Diggs is gone, Gabe Davis is gone, what does this mean for the Bills?
When can Josh Allen ask out? I mean, it's interesting because they're going to have to trade for a wide receiver. They have to find some way to get at least somebody because the future of the team is looking bleak. And I don't know if it's just the compounded amount of losses in tough playoff games or if it's just teams not wanting to be there, players not wanting to be there anymore. But Josh Allen is too good of a quarterback to have a team like this.
Well, I think it's salvageable. You know what I mean? Like
No, it is.
as
yes.
long as you have Josh Allen, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, you're gonna have a shot. But who's he gonna throw to? And I think that's, in my opinion, I think they should really consider trading up in this upcoming draft because you have Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze, who are both projected to be star wide receivers. I think if they're aggressive, they want to go get one of those guys. I'd feel a lot more confident about their odds going into next season. Wouldn't you guys think?
I think it's more important to draft people than just draft one star. I think that I'm looking at, I have their draft order open right here. Apparently, look, I'm not going to pretend like I'm a college football expert or a draft analyst. I'm not. But from everyone I've been listening to these past few days, apparently this is a very deep year for wide receivers. So, and I don't know, more and more, we're seeing really good wide receivers get drafted in the late first round, second round, third round. I mean, Stephon Diggs himself was drafted in the fifth round, I believe. So I think right now, rather than just trying to trade up and get one star rookie you're going to try and force feed the ball to, I think it's a better idea to just draft like they have the 28th overall pick. That has to be a wide receiver. Maybe draft up a little bit, but I don't think much more than that. Pick 2, you got to use that on a wide receiver. And then after that, they don't have a pick in the third round, so it's time for the GM to make Brandon Bean. It's time for him to make his money. Both of these picks need to be slam dunks. I don't know. I just want to see a little bit more. I'd like to see them just draft a variety of guys because this is a new offensive coordinator. And I don't know, I kind of want to see, or newish, he came in halfway or maybe a little bit more than halfway through last season. I forget which week that was. So I want to see them bring in some new guys, a bunch of guys who can learn. And I want to see this new offensive coordinator, really just come up with a good scheme. Get some good, passing plays for Josh Allen. Because though they have come up with some good stuff the past few years, sometimes I don't know. It has a little bit to be desired, putting a little bit too much on Josh Allen's plate. I want to see the team really just get a good nucleus of young wide receivers in here.
I mean, it's a fair point what you're saying, but I think every NFL team has a window, and when you have a really talented quarterback who you signed to a deal, I think you owe it to him and you owe it to your team to put that team in the best position to win. And I think going into next season with say you don't draft up, say you don't trade for a star wide receiver, you're kind of in that weird spot where you're like half rebuilding the offense and your wide receiver core, which is not, on paper right now, it's not impressive at all. And you can't go into next season with it looking like that. So they're in an interesting spot right now.
Right. Well, here's my counter to that would be, one, I think that this rebuild needed to happen. They needed to trade Stephon Diggs because that the wheels had fallen off of that relationship and they just needed a change of scenery.
Yeah.
And this is an old team, man, that's not good enough to win the Super Bowl. There were people at the beginning of last season who were still holding on hope to that they would be able to do it, and they couldn't, and they're not going to be able to do it next year. So I think it's just this rebuild's going to have to happen sooner rather than later. And I think that if you're just smart about it, you don't need to just pull the trigger. Because if you just trade up all your picks away and that wide receiver, you trade up for gets hurt or, say he's a bust, then you've traded away maybe your whole future for a present that's not going to be very fruitful. And I think, and also, I was just looking it up. I didn't have any guys off the top of my head. Devontae Adams, pick 53 overall. Justin Jefferson, if I'm not mistaken, was towards the end of the first round. Like, you can get really good wide receivers at later in the first round and in the second round. Even Justin Jefferson was 22nd.
It's interesting because you're going to need Josh Allen to buy into all of this because at the end of the day, your star player needs to have a sign of approval that, all right, we're going through a rebuild. Is it a quick rebuild? Is it a long rebuild? What does that mean for him going forward? So I feel like the Bills need to make a decision, and they're going to need the entire team to buy in and agree that this is the best course of action in an AFC in the division that still is pretty easy because they're still better than the Patriots.
Right.
Miami's going to give Tua all that money.
Miami's going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
The Jets, if healthy, they're going to win a lot of games.
So compared to their division, the Bills are still in a good spot.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any problem with Josh Allen becoming disgruntled. I think he probably wouldn't be fine with a rebuild.
Yeah.
It's not like his dream
But
scenario.
I don't think he's going to wake up tomorrow and be like, yeah, why not?
Right.
Well, he can't. He signed the contract. That's one. Yeah. How long is this?
Contracts are becoming less and less
contracts don't
important
matter.
right now.
No, contracts are very. I disagree with that. Contracts are very important because then the GM could say, "Oh, you don't like what I'm doing? Too bad. You could sit your ass on the bench and waste away the rest of your prime, making less money than we would have given you."
Yeah, no, I get that, but then you also are seeing it in the NBA where a lot of players are having more power as of recent.
They signed a 4-year contract and dipped the next year.
Right, but his contract wasn't for that long, and the Bills aren't going to trade him.
No.
Yeah, that just would never happen.
No, the Bills are not.
Quarterbacks don't really move like that. Who's the last like top 5 quarterback that got traded?
Oh God, you're putting me on the spot.
Damn.
Well, it didn't happen. That's the point. It's never really happened before like that. I mean, the closest thing, like, the Jets traded for washed, Aaron Rodgers, who, like, I think wasn't top 5 at that point. He was still top 10, I think. He was like 7-6.
Right.
But even then, and look how that's turned out for them.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of terrible deals, actually, I don't want to get us off topic, but that Von Miller deal for the Bills,
that's not.
they're still on the. It's that's why I think it's just smart. Like, just get a bunch of guys in, because I don't know. I still think unless they do terribly in the draft and like don't bring anyone in, I still think even with some rookie wide receivers who are learning the NFL, this team's basement is still 8-9 wins.
Yeah,
because you have Josh Allen.
Exactly.
So, and you can find receiver, like we saw with Nico Collins, where like no one thought he was that great of a receiver, but then you actually have a decent quarterback who can throw the football, and then you're kind of getting a lot more value out of these guys that they're not no names, but it's people who you don't really have in your top 10 wide receiver category. You know what I mean?
I agree. How much? Sorry, if you had something you want to say, I don't want to interrupt you, but if you're the Bills, how much would you give up for Jordan Ayuk?
Oh, Brandon.
Ayuk.
Oh, Brandon, my bad.
Um,
Not Jordan.
That's a good question.
Jordan Ayuk's a soccer player. I'm done.
No, I do remember there was some buzz about him and having some disagreement, right?
Well, because his rookie contract's, I think, about to be up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or either that or they franchise tagged him, one of the two.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, that'd be a pretty nice. I think that would work out for both parties.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe T. Higgins?
T. Higgins. Yeah.
For me, I don't know. I'm still of the mind. I still think, I don't know, because according to everyone, this is like an A draft year for wide receivers.
Yeah.
So I think try and get some guys in the draft. Like I said, GM's got to earn that money, make some good picks.
But the other question you have to ask is if the Bills do want to draft up, which they probably should, who would be willing to draft down?
It depends on what you want to give up.
Yeah, if you want one of those wide receivers, then maybe the Giants would trade down. The Chargers are there too. They'll probably want to stay there because their receiving core is not looking too good. I don't know.
I just think the problem with trading, though, is who on the Bills is really who you getting a lot back for that's not going to cost you wins next, like big, like, you know, wins next season. Because you don't want to break up the O-line, because it's a pretty good O-line. This defense is really old and kind of injury prone, so I can't really see. I mean, hey, if you could flog Von Miller off to anyone who'd want him, or some of those guys, maybe. But like, who is really, you know, what team in the NFL is really looking at the Bills like, there's a lot of guys on that team I'd want.
It's a gamble, dude, because you see, like the Rams, for example, they just said, screw all these picks. We're just going to go out and get as many talented veterans as we can, and they got a championship for it. But then
now it's like,
now they're going to kind of be a little irrelevant for a little while because they don't have much draft capital. But that doesn't always work out, you know? Like with the Brooklyn Nets, for example.
No, and hey, look, if you could make that gamble and it works out for you, good for you. Because at the end of the day, all these teams that are trying to build their teams, rebuild, that's all in hopes of eventually winning a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out for the Rams, and now they're not as good, but hey, you know, you'll always have that ring.
That's right.
It worked out for the Buccaneers too.
Because the thing about that is, though, the Bills kind of already, to a lesser extent, they kind of already did that. They've committed a lot of money to putting these teams from the last 2-3 years together. And, you know, this is the point where they got to kind of do, like, you know, they did a lesser extent of the Rams and it kind of failed. Now they need to do what the Rams did too. And the Rams, they drafted really smartly. Like, oh, God, I should have prepared for this, but who's the name of the really good wide receiver for the Rams this year? The Hawaiian dude?
Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua. He was like second, third round pick too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do the scouting correctly, and you could, that's not a good word.
But I mean, getting Puka was like a 1 in a million kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is though, man, because like I said, Devontae, second round, Justin Jefferson, 22nd pick, like these.
Yeah, I mean,
but
you're right.
Puka as a prospect was a bit of a long shot too.
I suppose so, but this is a deep draft from what I'm told. So there are
Yes.
guys who you can, and I think in the NFL, don't get me wrong, you got to have the talent and stuff, but I think scheme, if you just get some guys, even some guys who aren't the most talented coming out of the draft, if you get them into a good scheme and you get them a quarterback like Josh Allen, I think you can get you could develop some real guys, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think. And unfortunately, this is just kind of the ways the Bills have to go, because they paid Josh Allen, and once you pay your quarterback, you just can't really be as adventurous with the contracts you give out.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, the cap is a very strict thing in the NFL.
Well, thank God we're not NFL GMs, right, guys?
Yeah, exactly.
Should we move on
We're
to
the real
to
experts.
NBA?
Based on our MNF Monday Night Football predictions, we should not be anywhere near an NFL front office.
Yeah. Any more thoughts?
That's it.
I guess that's kind of, I don't know. I'm excited to see what the Texans look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just another one of those really fun young teams.
Mm-hmm.
Very bright future.
Yeah, actually, I want to see their coaches. Like I want to see them get more creative with offense and stuff. Because last year, towards the end of the halfway through the season, they stopped dropping back to pass as much.
Mm-hmm.
And did more play action. I don't know. Now you got all those receivers. You got C.J. Stroud who can make those throws. You know, drop back, be
Right.
man.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we switch to NBA for a little bit? So, some quick news on the Knicks. Julius Randle is set to have season-ending surgery on his right shoulder. He's been sidelined since January 27th after he dislocated his shoulder in a freak injury against the Heat. Since then, he's been rehabbing. You know, he's had the hopes that, you know, he would avoid surgery and come back for the playoffs, but it hasn't gotten better, and, you know, you can make it a lot worse by trying to play through it. So I think surgery is the right option here. And I don't fault the Knicks or anyone for trying to rehab him because, you know, he's going to be back at the beginning of next season anyway, so it's worth, you know, a shot. But let's make it clear. Randle is a really good player.
Yes.
I know a lot of Knicks fans who, you know, criticize this guy day in and day out.
It's still $24.95.
Yeah, you know, I know he has turnover issues. He hasn't really shown up in the playoffs yet for the Knicks. But before his injury, he was averaging 24 points per game, 9.2 rebounds, 5 assists. That's something that you can't really... You can try to replace on your bench, but you're not going to get that kind of consistency.
That's a committee effort to replace those type of numbers from the bench. So for the Knicks, I also did find it interesting how once Randle got hurt,
Yeah.
OG and Anunoby came back like right away. I was
Luckily.
like, that's a little interesting. I feel like if Randall wasn't out for the whole season, they wouldn't have brought back OG that quick. But going back to Randall, this kind of does suck for the Knicks because even without him, they were still doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo really shined the last couple of months. But without Randall, man, this team
That's what I was going to say.
It's-
With Randall gone,
for the playoffs, it's
I
the
think
Brunson
their
show.
championship, because they had championship aspirations in January. Do
Yeah.
you think those are completely gone now for this year?
Yeah, I hate to say it. I mean, because OG's probably not gonna be 110%. He's
Mhm.
just coming back from
Yeah.
injury, and
Mhm.
and he has to play hard down the stretch now. It's not like he can ease him back in. And Randall, I don't know. Yeah, like I agree 100% with what you guys
Mhm.
say. He might get criticism, but he's so key to this team, and there's no coach that's really talented enough to come up with a solution to that schematically this late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, and there's no trades. Obviously, you can't really do anything about it.
But to be fair, given all that, the Knicks are still one game out of second seed, which is crazy to think that's even
Yeah,
possible
and-
with all the injuries they've had.
You know what? I'm gonna. I hate to make another prediction here because it's
Go ahead.
wrong.
Go ahead.
But I think with OG, they
Mhm.
can make it to the second round. Because look, they have a 16-3 record with him in the lineup. He shot horribly last
Mhm.
night in the game against the Bucks, and they still won because he played great defense on Giannis. They beat the Bucks 122 to 109. I like their odds. If facing one of the younger teams, maybe the Pacers or whoever it is.
Right.
I think with OG in the lineup, because it takes away a little bit of the attention from Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they get past the first round, but I cannot see them without Randall going much further than that.
Exactly. If I'm the Knicks and I'm looking at like a potential first round matchup, I would want the Pacers and Cavs any day over the Orlando Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the Magic are going to give them trouble. They have a lot of offensive firepower. Paulo, Franz, they have a lot of guys that can shoot threes. And I feel like if the Knicks go up against that and they kind of halt offensively,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Magic could easily be able to take advantage. Whereas the Pacers, look, I like the Pacers, but they are what they are.
Right.
Halliburton got hurt, was never the same after that. And as good as the Cavs were at one point this season, it's also Mitchell's been out for a while. Garland's been in and out. They have no consistency, and they don't really show up when it matters, like we saw last season.
So the only good team is the Celtics, pretty much.
Well, the Miami Heat are there, so.
Miami Heat are there.
And the
Yeah.
Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the Sixers did get him beat back.
The Sixers do get him beat
Yeah,
back,
which
which will
is-
make things really interesting.
Who's been on a tear too?
Mhm.
He had what, 30 and 12 last night?
Let
Maybe
me
last
Maxey
game,
at
last
52.
game. Yeah. No, with the Sixers though, whoever plays them in the first round is gonna be tough.
Mhm.
'Cause you have to play against Embiid and Maxey.
Because if it ended tomorrow, they'd play the Cavs, right?
Who?
The Knicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. They destroyed the Cavs last
Yeah.
season, which I don't know.
In 5.
Yeah.
Easy.
So I don't know. Even without Randall, I still think they could beat the Cavs. It might take more games, but I still think they could do it.
Yeah.
I
They
think
can.
With those two, so yeah.
I'd see them. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
that's a big X factor.
It would be a 6 or 7 game series.
Yeah. It would be tough, but they'd still do it. I think. I don't know. I still see the Knicks as, knock on wood, as long as there's no other major injury. I still think they can. I still would put money on them make it to the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing about the Randall injury, though. He's going to be ready for play come the start of next season. However, I think this injury does play a huge role in their team moving forward because, say you wanted to make a trade, Karl Anthony Towns has had his name floated around
Right.
the team for a while. Randall would probably have been the main trade piece.
Yeah.
That they would get back for a cat or whoever.
Right. Especially with Brunson, you're not trading Jalen Brunson, so Randall has to be that kind of big piece
Right.
that has to move, especially
Right.
after the OG trade, because now
The
you're
Knicks
not going to
thought-
trade OG.
yeah.
They're probably going to pay him, which also if OG gets a lot of money, then it might be a problem down the line, but we'll see.
We'll see about that. But
Yeah.
the Knicks, they thought their problem was that they needed a Batman, right? But they
Mhm.
have their Batman in Brunson.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of looking for that Robin.
Right.
And if that's Randall, then fine. But if it's not, I think that's the decision they need to make. And it's going to be tough because how is it any team going to want to trade for this guy coming off an injury, coming off not the greatest of playoff performances in the past. They don't really know what he's going to look like next season.
Mm-hmm.
So as a GM, how could you make that trade? But also, I don't know. I think the fact that they have Brunson now and they know what he is, that sets them up for a lot of success in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of they're getting way more out of DiVincenzo than I thought they would. So there's been a lot of great GMing from the Knicks. I don't know. It's going to be interesting how it plays out with Randle, though.
It's clicking at the right time, and it's just going to be interesting to see who they play in the first round, and also if they finish third or fourth.
Mm.
Because if you finish third, and the Bucks would finish second, the Knicks finish third, you would have to play the Bucks in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. They probably wouldn't beat the Bucks, but I'm just saying, there's a chance.
I mean, they got Doc Rivers, so
There's a chance because we'll get to it later, but the Bucks look like a complete disaster right now, and we saw it last night. The Knicks beat them.
No, we can go to it now.
In Milwaukee. All right, we'll go there now.
Yeah.
Well, on the NBA, we might as well.
The Bucks are on a 40-game losing streak.
Yeah, not the great time, the best time to be doing that. Bring up the Bucks schedule.
Oh, I have it right here.
Yeah.
So tomorrow they play the Celtics.
Uh-huh.
The night after they play the Magic.
Okay. Oh.
After that they play the Thunder. Then they play the Magic again.
Uh-huh.
So that's not an easy
No, that
way
is
to
not
end
easy.
the season.
No.
Mm-hmm. Magic is only a game back
The
from the Bucks
Magic
right now.
The Magic,
Same with the Knicks.
the Knicks, and Cavs are a game and a half out. It's looking bad for the Cavs, man. Like, how do you blow 3 straight games against teams like the Wizards?
And the Knicks have, other than the Celtics,
It's a pretty easy.
their schedule is easy, man. The Bulls twice and the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think the Magic and the Knicks could leapfrog the Bucks.
But you also don't know what you're getting from the Bulls on the given night. They could play well one night and play terrible the next.
Fair enough, but 9.
No, I know.
Imagine
And
the
then-
Knicks get the 2nd seed.
Oh my god.
I mean, that would
Was
just
this
play out
2013?
beautifully.
Oh. A New York Boston Eastern Conference Finals.
That would be fun. I don't know if the Knicks could make it to the Eastern Conference
Without
Finals,
Randle,
but,
yeah.
but second round maybe.
I bet you if I'm like the Celtics or Bucks right now in that first or second, I'm praying that the Pacers somehow fall to 7th.
Oh, yeah.
And the Celtics have to play like the Pacers instead of like the Heat or Sixers, you know?
I don't envy anyone that has to play the Heat or Sixers in the first round.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie though, as a neutral though, and just a fan, I want these standings to stay the way they are because that would be awesome. First round matchup, Celtics Heat, and then Bucks Sixers. I'd love that, but yeah, maybe too
I
soon.
don't know. Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Maybe
It might
too
be
soon.
a little too
Maybe
soon.
too soon. I want to see at least one of those happen.
But it's also like the play, and like you never know, like Atlanta could get that spot,
Mm-hmm.
and they could knock out like it's one game.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Let's go to the West because the West has kind of opened up a bit. It's now the East that is super
Yeah.
tight. It looks like the Timberwolves have secured a top 3 seed. Is that right?
Yes.
They clinched with Denver and OKC.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, man. And here are the Denver Nuggets in second. I feel like across NBA and sports media, I don't see that many people talking about the Nuggets like they're the defending champions.
I know.
A little disrespect.
It's all
Kind of,
it's
yeah.
like
I don't think any team. I think they're gonna go back to back. I changed. Yeah, that's right. Our faithful listeners, I changed my pick. I think I had Bucks over Nuggets in the final. I mean, that's not happening. Yeah, I mean the Nuggets. I don't know, man. They're just, to me, they're pretty clearly the favorites.
they're still the best team in the NBA.
Yeah,
Really?
I think so, man.
Look. Celtics could win as many games as they want, and they're 61-16 right now. That's remarkable. But the Nuggets, in crunch time, in the last 5 minutes of a close game, they know how to get it done.
And you don't think the Celtics do?
Not at that level.
Celtics got to prove it, you know.
Not at that level yet. Could this team do it? Absolutely.
It sounds like you're lacking a lot of confidence in them right now.
No, I'm not. I know like this team's gonna be great, but it's just against the Nuggets in a series. This is why I'm kind of rooting for the Nuggets not to make it to the finals, just for the fact I don't want the Celtics to see them, because the game's gonna slow down, and Jokic is gonna get the shot he wants, and it's gonna be tough.
Honestly, dude, if it wasn't the Nuggets, I would probably pick the Celtics. Yeah, to win. If they played any other team in the finals.
Like if they play the Timberwolves, let's say.
Yeah.
Like you would pick the Celtics, but it's interesting. What if the Warriors or Lakers make the finals?
Warriors or Lakers?
Oh, speaking of, the Rockets are officially out, sadly.
Yeah, they made it interesting though.
Yeah.
Gotta give them credit.
Well, yeah.
Before going on a 5-game losing streak.
Well, you gotta build it up for next season. You know, they were kind of, if they had made the playoffs, they would have been ahead of schedule anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So
This is a crazy play-in tournament though in this Western Conference right now.
Pelicans Kings is a good game.
Pelicans, Kings, Lakers.
we have this.
It's gonna
And
be
Phoenix
fun, man.
could still fall down to the play-in.
Yeah, the Suns are stuck, dude.
The Suns,
Yeah.
man. Oh God.
It's not looking good.
No, I never. I can't. Well, I just don't believe in that team's depth at all.
No. I don't believe in Bradley Beal to stay healthy.
Yeah, he's also. I don't know if I buy him as a real playoff guy too. I guess he wouldn't necessarily need to be, but
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't really gotten the chance to show it. To be
Fair
fair.
enough, yeah.
The Mavs are in a big-time win streak, too. 3 in a row? Yeah.
yeah,
Nine in the last 10.
they came alive this last quarter
Yeah.
of the season.
The Rockets were up big, too, last night in the first quarter. And slowly but surely, Kyrie had 48 last night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Dante Exum hit the game
Yeah.
tying 3. That was
Crazy.
fun. But yeah, we're gonna see what happens. I think.
Oh yeah. Are you Oh sorry. Do you want to say
No,
something? Matt?
go ahead.
yeah.
I don't know if yeah we have a ton of
Yeah,
time
go
before we
ahead.
talk about baseball.
Mhm.
I'm gonna talk about something I think that kind of needs to happen.
Mhm.
Or I don't know, just hear me out. Hashtag hear me
Uh-huh.
out. I think come the end of this season, I think it's time for Steph Curry and the Warriors to really think about their relationship. I think that, not all marriages are meant to last forever. I think sometimes it's in the best interest of both parties to kind of, go separate ways, and this is what I think should happen. I think, I know for a fact, Steph Curry, not this, so this season he will have, at the end of this season he'll have 2 years left on his deal. I thought it was 1, but still, I don't know. I think this Warriors team is not going. They will not win another championship or be contenders before he ends his prime. Maybe not I think he will retire before they're really good again, but or maybe not. Depends on how long he wants to play. But I just think he won't be a factor like he is now. The next time the Warriors can think about being real contenders again.
Mm.
I think what he should do is say, hey, look, I love this team. I'm Mr. Warrior. I'm the best player in franchise history. Let me go for a few years. I'll sign my last, his last contract for 1 year. They can play the, I'm coming home song, and, people can, clap for him and stuff. But look, man, just as a fan of basketball, I want to see Steph Curry play games that matter. And folks, if he stays on the Warriors, he's not going to be playing games that really matter. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to, all you Warriors fans since 2015 that may be listening to us and stuff. Shout out to the real Warriors fans in the Bay Area. I know some of you. I know y'all good.
From 2015, 2016.
But I think the Warriors, they shouldn't put up too much of a fight. Say, hey, give us some good draft picks. We got some good young players on this team. Let's build around them and wait for Giannis to come. And then, maybe at that point Steph can come back for 1 year. I just think it'd just be best for everyone.
Oscar.
What's up?
Steph leaves, right?
Mm.
Who do you build around?
Someone else. I mean, you can't build around Steph, man. He's an old man. You can't build around a 36-year-old when you're not good anymore.
Oscar, he's 36. Where's he going to go to win a championship? I'm
What-
not. I'm not
What
saying
team doesn't want him? What team are you saying? So
No,
for a second
No.
round pick, you wouldn't take him at the Celtics.
no, okay, that's not gonna happen. That's not feasible.
Why
That's
not?
That's not really realistic. Why would the Warriors do that? This is their franchise guy.
But there's nothing to play for, Sean.
But that's not okay. You don't get rid of Stephen Curry because of that. You get rid of Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, and Andrew.
Why?
Wiggins.
Why not? Why not?
Because Steph is your franchise. You're never going to be able to
For
get
what?
back.
To
You're not-
lose?
you're
So
not
you're
gonna-
going to lose.
you're
They're
not-
losers now, Sean. They're not good anymore.
Okay, but you don't get rid of Steph. Steph is the guy, bro.
But all you're saying is for sentimentality and for emotions, we shouldn't get rid of it.
Okay. He's 36, right?
This isn't a business about emotions, man. You can't get caught up in the emotions.
I'm trying to relate it. In my head,
It's-
it's very similar to the Damian Lillard saga.
Yeah.
That's what sometimes it's.
No, that was very.
You gotta get picks.
Dame never won a championship though.
Right.
Steph built an entire legacy for Golden State.
Because what I'm saying is, look, the best you're going to get out of Steph Curry on the Warriors now, some nice T-shirt sales, some bobbleheads, and that's, bring the fans in to say, to see this guy slowly lose all of his powers. And just, I don't know, he's just frustrated at this team, man. Look at the way he interacts with Draymond now.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
because
he's
Draymond's a
fed up.
dumbass.
But why? But I don't know. I like basketball and I like Steph Curry. I don't want him to be the babysitter for a bad team anymore. I just want to see him do something good. How many teams say no to Steph
It's not
Curry?
a bad take.
It's not, but it's like it's so much easier to address the other problems around you, like Draymond being a head case, Klay Thompson completely falling off the earth, than it is getting rid of Stephen Curry.
But you just got to get rid of all of them, man, for as much as you can, because that's how you rebuild faster. Because right now, Steph is going to play out these last 2 years, maybe sign another 2-year deal. I think he's going to get sick of being a babysitter, and because that's not what he wants to do. You think he wants to babysit the next gen and deal with Draymond Green's temper tantrums? I think no.
Okay.
I don't think he deserves that. He deserves better.
You saying Steph to go? You want him to leave to go win more, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What team, right? What team could Steph go to where he's going to be willing to take a pay cut? Because
I mean, if
no
who
championship,
cares?
no.
Who cares? He's got enough money. He's got enough money. Go win ring number 5.
Steph's not going to do that.
Why not? But you're not giving me any actual evidence other than what you think.
Okay. KD. The Golden State Warriors with KD, right?
Right.
They did the whole pay cut thing to bring KD to the Warriors and win championships, which they did.
Right.
Okay, let's say for example, you put Steph on the Celtics, right? Let's just say that. Who did the Celtics then trade to the Warriors?
Bro, just picks.
Who?
Because what are you going to get for Steph if he stays on the team now? Nothing. And then you're going to let him walk for free after 2 years? You still get
You still
nothing.
have a number one guy.
No, you don't, because he's going to leave. He's going to be old, bro. In 2 years, he's going to be 38. You want your number one guy to be 38?
Okay, LeBron's 40 and he's still the number one guy in LA.
LeBron's the greatest basketball player ever. But you can't really expect everyone to be that good for that long.
Well, Steph Curry's been this good for this long.
No,
He's only 3 years old.
what's your point though? Because the only thing you're saying is he should stay because he's always been a Warrior.
You can't get rid of Steph because that solves none of your problems. What are you?
Yes, it does. You get draft picks. You need to get young guys in here. They're not winning anything now.
No, that's not.
Yeah,
it's not okay.
Do you think the Warriors are going to win a championship in the next 5 years?
No.
Then why is Steph still there? Go get draft picks for him. I don't know. I personally, I don't want to condemn the greatest, one of the greatest players of all time to just mediocrity. I think he deserves better.
Well, he's also had 4 championships up until
Go
now.
get
We're
5.
talking about the past.
Yeah, exactly. See, you're living in the past. I'm talking about the future. And dude, if he wins another chip, he's going to have more than LeBron. He's going to be able to say, I think LeBron's the GOAT. Well, no matter what you think, he's at the very least top 3.
Right.
Steph gets to say, this was LeBron's era. I came into your era and I won 5 rings. That's going to put him in different conversations when we come to the GOAT.
Hold on. If Steph, let's say, goes to a good team and wins a chip, right? That's going to tarnish his legacy.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
What are you talking about?
Hold on.
The Kevin Durant championships do not tarnish his legacy. I don't care what anyone says.
Yes, they do.
No, I don't think they do.
Bro, okay.
As far as being
At
a
the
finals
time,
MVP.
Well, that's a different
Because
conversation.
it's such a bad look. But Oscar, it's going to be looked at the same way.
No, it's not, because he wouldn't be going to a stacked team. No one respects KD's rings because he
You
just
just
cheated.
you just said, what if he goes to the Celtics?
Whatever, bro. My point is, he could go to any team in the NBA and make a difference.
But,
I still
but
really
that's still,
understand-
but that's still no guarantee for a championship.
But
it's a
he's
better
guaranteed
situa-
to compete. I don't understand, but like, what's the benefit of having him stay in Golden State? For basketball fans, for the Warriors,
question.
and for Steph.
What was the benefit of having Kobe Bryant stay in LA
Nothing.
all those years?
Nothing.
But okay,
He went out sad. He went out incredibly sad.
okay.
I don't want to see. I'm sorry.
ACL.
Everyone's sad. No one's allowed to say anything bad about Kobe because he died. But like,
you're
No,
right.
no,
You're
like,
right.
he went out sad. You want to see Steph go out like that? I don't.
I think you don't want to see him join a super team.
But it's not even about super team. I just want to see him join a team that can win.
Right. No, I mean I get
Right?
both.
I don't know.
I get
But it's
both
also-
arguments.
But it's also, if you lose Steph, what do you have? Steph is the team. Steph is the founder.
But they don't have. All you have right now is sentiment.
You're gonna have to move off of it.
Yeah,
eventually.
that's what I'm
He's
saying.
gonna
Might as well
retire.
get-
No,
my
no,
point is-
he's going to retire a Warrior. I'm telling you that in 100% confidence.
That's
right
cool,
now.
but you should get something for him while you still can that can contribute to this team down the line. It's just that's how you build a good sports team. That's how they got Steph. They made good draft picks. They got to go back to that.
If he leaves Golden State, that would be more surprising than Tom Brady leaving the Patriots.
Well, maybe, but then what happened to Tom? He went and got another ring added to his legacy. I don't know. My thing is, we were talking about this off air. I want to talk about baseball for the last 15 minutes. So this is my last thing I'll say. As our listeners know, I was not here last week. I was in Baltimore. The game happened on Saturday, not Monday. But Saturday, I watched the Orioles play the Angels. And I saw Mike Trout there, just in the outfield, man, coming up to bat, still being amazing, still being great. And fair enough, Steph has won a lot more than Mike Trout, so it's a slightly different thing, but not really. Dude, I just look at Mike Trout and I'm like, bro, sometimes loyalty is not a good thing. Sometimes if you're loyal to the wrong cause, it's going to cost you. I was just like, because Mike Trout's going to be done soon, just like he's only a little bit younger than Steph Curry. Steph Curry's going to be done soon. I'm just like, F all this, like, loyalty crap. Go win something. Go, spend the last years of your amazing careers doing something that matters, not playing for a bunch of losers. I don't know. That's what I think.
I think that's a fair point, man.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, you want to see these amazing players, first of all, in the postseason, which you haven't really seen with Mike Trout, but you want to see them compete at the highest level, and I feel like with Steph, you're really not going to be seeing that very much. I mean, they're going to make the the play-in tournament, maybe they make the postseason, but I don't know, dude. I get both of you guys' arguments. There's a lot of emotion in it, and obviously we want to all see Steph retire a Warrior.
Yeah. One thing that we can agree on though is this current team right now is very frustrating,
Right.
and none of this is Steph's fault.
Right. I don't
It's
think
just-
anyone has said that.
Yeah. No. But the prospect of Steph leaving is just something like. You just look at like Clay, Draymond, like those are the issues on your teams. You look at the young guys that you really haven't had a chance to develop.
I think that the Tom Brady comparison was a really great one though, because it was.
But
it
that's
was
such a.
time.
But that's it was time. But there's no guarantee on the other side of the champion. At the other side of the aisle, you're gonna get a championship.
Yeah,
Fortune
but you wanna
favors the bold, brother.
Give yourself a better shot. All right, that was a good debate though. Good job, guys.
Well, that could be the short.
Yeah.
Bo, you guys want to talk about injuries in baseball?
Yeah, let's move on to that. So there were a lot of injuries this past weekend. Marlins right-hander Yuri Perez is going to be undergoing a season-ending Tommy John surgery, along with Guardians ace Shane Bieber. Yankees pitcher Jonathan Loaizaga is going to be having season-ending UCL surgery. And then this really sucked, along with the other ones, Braves Spencer Strider has some ligament damage at his right elbow and is most likely going to get surgery as well. So really, really, really bad way to start the season as far as the pitching injuries. And it was said by the Players Association came forward and essentially said that the pitch clock is to blame for the large amount of pitching injuries so far this season. It causes them to speed up their routine, and there's basically just less time for them to recover between pitches. What do you guys think about that? Because I think maybe the pitch clock has a small reason, a small role to play, but I think it's mainly the velocity that these pitchers are throwing these balls at.
Yeah, I agree with you 110%, Max. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit biased because I do like the pitch clock. I think it made the games better.
I know, I agree.
But and I'm also not going to be close-minded and say no, it's 100% the velocity.
The pitchers were against the pitch clock, so it is important to note that as well.
The thing is, it's also actually maybe I didn't look enough about what the pitchers were saying, but I saw the MLB, the Players Association, which I'm usually on the side of that. Like they did say they were like no player wanted this, and that's not true. There were several players on the record that say they were like quoted as saying like I'm cool with this, I like this. But yeah, I agree with you, Max. I think I don't know. I just deleted it like a fool, but I had this article open. It was an article in The Athletic. I think Ken Rosenthal was one of the writers. I kind of forget, but one of the top physicians at the Rangers, he said, I forget the gentleman's name because I deleted the article like a fool right now. I thought it was part of my Stephon Diggs research. And he said it's the velocity, and it's also not only is it the velocity, it's the type of pitches that pitchers are throwing. I think it was specifically a hard changeup and a cutter. I forget if it was I think it was the hard changeup and one other pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're throwing that at such a high speed, you're just contorting your wrist and your elbow and your whole arm into such a kind of unnatural and fierce way that if you do that so much, you're going to throw your arm out.
Right. I think it's purely just you're having kids throw 98 miles per hour over and over and over again, and the human body is just like simply not meant to do that.
Yeah.
So what is the solution? I think it's pretty hard to say, because in a way a lot of pitchers need to they don't need to throw their arms out, but they need to throw hard to even just make a roster in the first place. It would be, obviously this is a big if, but if they can increase their arsenal, because you can still throw like a pretty nasty 90 mile per hour pitch, so just pitchers trying to incorporate more of like sliders and curves and changeups and working away from just 100 miles per hour, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's also, you touched on it right there, Max. It's very good. I want to touch on it too. But I think it's just that it's kind of across all sports. Young athletes these days, like I'm not talking about like young professionals, like literal children and teenagers, they are just asked to play so many more sports, like, or maybe not like multiple sports at once, but like they have to play their sport so much. They're going to, because back in the day, man, it used to be like, mostly you play really well for your high school. Some high schools are more competitive than others. You want to go to a high school that's a good program. And then in the summer, when there's no school, you play travel ball for a little bit. It's not as serious. Nowadays, man, you're playing like travel ball when high school season's not in and during, and it's just, and it's not just fun and games. You're asking those kids to play really seriously and throw I don't know, man, there's 15-year-olds out here throwing 92, 80, high 80s, low 90s. And if you're lucky enough to make it to the MLB, it's a no-brainer that your arm's going to blow out, you know? It's just human body's capable of doing a lot of amazing things, but
you just go down the list. I mean, Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer, Sonny Gray, Justin Verlander, you said Shane Bieber, Sandy Alcantara is out, Yuri Perez, Lucas Giolito. These are all stars. These are all some of the best pitchers in baseball, and we're not seeing them. And it's an issue, but I don't know if there's a really simple solution, because you can't just take out the pitch clock. I'd be interested to see what some of these pitchers who I just named, what they think the reason is. I mean, they're probably not going to go out and just say it's the pitch clocks, it's the new rules, that it's their fault. But I don't know.
You go first.
But there needs to be some sort of like middle ground, because maybe like everyone said, the number one reason why the pitch clock was put in was to make the game go faster.
Right, and it's worked.
Yeah, it has. But as a result, you're putting your players at risk.
Mm-hmm.
So is there some sort of middle ground that the MLB and players can both agree on, where it's like, all right, we're going to put a pitch clock, but maybe it's not like, maybe the time isn't as fast.
Different time.
Yeah. Maybe you slow it down a little bit because this is bad, and it's all like marquee pitchers too. It's not just some middle of the pack like average backup pitcher. Like these are the primary pitchers in the entire league.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that's very telling. It shows that these guys who have been really talented and kind of clocked for, Division I baseball or, MLB baseball at a young age, the really talented guys, they get injured first because they're just asked to do so much.
Mm-hmm.
And also, just kind of, maybe the pitch clock plays a bit of a small part, but I just found this very super surface level stat. But more pitchers were put on the IL in 2022 before the pitch clock than last year.
Yeah, and you have guys like Jacob deGrom who had Tommy John and had injury issues before, like way before the pitch clock. So it's not solely the fault of that specific rule. But now when these injuries start to pile up, you're wondering, okay, wait, maybe what has changed the past couple of years that might be the result of this?
Is there a pattern that we can fall back on? So naturally, everyone looking at it is going to just blame the pitch clock.
Yeah.
Which at points is either fair or unfair, depending on the argument. But
yeah, I mean, we can all agree that these injuries are just really bad for the sport.
Yeah,
it's bad.
But it's also look at I feel like it's the reason why I don't blame the pitch clock is because it's also nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
Look at, for example, remember Tim Lincecum? He was he is one of the greatest peaks we've seen of any pitcher ever. He won back-to-back Cy Youngs in either 08, 09 or 09, 2010, 2010, 2011, I forget. It's something like that. Very late 2000s to early 2010s. And he can only play like at that peak for a very limited amount of time because he threw so much and his pitching style was really unorthodox. Like he was a really lanky guy, so he threw the ball like he looked like a trebuchet. I don't know if you ever seen like that in any medieval ancient movies or whatever. And he threw out his arm. Same thing with, to a lesser extent, a teammate of his, Bumgarner.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even compared to, like, he's the same old age as like pitchers who are still pitching right now. It's just that he threw so many hard pitches really early into his career.
Yeah. If pitchers start coming out though and they're like, yeah, this is the pitch clock is an issue, we need to get back on our rhythm, our routine. Because I don't know if I brought this up in an earlier episode, but the Yankees, when they got word that Garrett Cole was going to be out for the start of the season, they were looking throughout the rest of the rotation to see if any of the other guys wanted to take over that spot on opening day, and they asked Marcus Stroman to do it, and they both came to an agreement that it wasn't a good idea for him to do that he should stick to his routine, and that he should just stick to his space in his spot in the rotation, eventually pitch on a home opening day. I think there were Yankees fans that had a problem with that. That it's an honor to pitch for opening day, but it's also like we don't know what it's like to be an MLB pitcher and how strict you must be to your routine, because you must be. Your health really plays a large role in that. If maybe like you have to come back a day early or a day late, then it can throw the whole thing off and you can risk injury. So, you got to be really careful with pitchers, and so that's why maybe giving them a little less time in terms of the pitch clock, that was an issue. But I frankly don't. I think what Sean said. You need to come with a little like agreement and see where you can meet in the middle.
Yeah, it's tough because it really seems like the Players Association and the MLB itself doesn't. They seem like, I don't know, they've got a lot of beef, and it would be nice to see them kind of be able to hash this issue out. I mean, the point of a Players Association is kind of to be against management and stuff, because a lot of the times they try and screw you over.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes sense that their natural inclination is to be opposed to Major League Baseball, but I don't know, you gotta come together for the the betterment of the sport. You
Mhm.
know.
Any final thoughts on that? Are we all
Not
good?
really. Yeah. For me personally, I want to see more hard evidence against the pitch clock
Right.
before I am going to come out and condemn it.
Or like something in direct relation to the pitch clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead
I
of
need.
like all these injuries piling up, where it's like, is it the pitch clock or is it not?
Yeah. I need that real link.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You said you went to Camden Yards. Tell us about that a little bit.
Oh, it was amazing, man. It's a little bit. It was the second game of the season, so it's now in baseball terms that's kind of old news now
Right.
because things go
Yeah.
by so fast. But I will say they looked good, man.
Orioles.
Yeah, the Orioles, not the Angels. The Angels looked pretty garbage. But they were really good, man. Gunnar Henderson. I don't know, man. I think some people kind of underrate Gunnar Henderson just because he's not super, super great at any one thing. He's just really complete at everything. He can hit for contact power. He's a good defender. He's a
Not great at double plays.
yeah. No. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, no. I don't know. I think in 1 or 2 years we could see a real MVP candidate out of that guy.
Yeah, no, and they have so many great players that are still cooking up in their farm system too.
Oh, who? Speaking of which, the guy. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But the guy who impressed me the most was I saw Grayson Rodriguez get the
Mhm.
start, and he was really good. I think he struck out like 11 dudes that day.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
they're
I-
gonna be a problem. I think they struggled in that series against the Pirates, so they're 5-4 right now.
Yeah. It's a bit of like not like the craziest start, especially when you look at like the Yankees, for example.
Oh
But
my gosh, how amazing! We didn't get to talk about it, but
Yeah,
how
yeah.
amazing has their season been so
Oh
far?
man, they look really good, bro. They look really good. I know you're definitely super happy.
I'm so happy,
Yeah,
especially
no.
after that Astros series.
As you should be. I don't know. Maybe we should go to a game this summer. Beyond the
Absolutely.
box
we
score.
definitely should, yeah.
Field trip. But anyways, no, what? My thing, like, I don't know, just to, like, the only thing is like people are like, are you surprised by the Yankees? And I say no. When the Yankees are mostly healthy, this is how I expect them to be
Right.
playing. It's just let's see as the season goes on. That's for me my question mark about the Yankees.
Yeah,
Because I think they're a really good team. It's just kind of a thin team. Is
it
my
is.
problem.
It is, yeah. And so you've thankfully though, you've had guys like Oswaldo Cabrera play a lot better. Anthony Volpe is leading the American League right now in batting average. Like he's playing unbelievable. So you've had guys step up with the DJ LeMahieu injury and the injury to Garrett Cole, of course. So it's really these past couple seasons have just been next man up, next man up, next man up because of the injury issues, and obviously last year we saw that wasn't a way to find success in the league. So we're gonna see it's still really early, but 8-2 after a road series against the Astros and then the Diamondbacks, and then you come home for the Blue Jays. It's not an easy way to start your season. So 8-2, I think we'll definitely take that for sure.
Trial by fire, man. I mean, yeah, no. You cooked the Astros, and the
Mhm.
Jays haven't looked great. You guys have made them look kind of poultry too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we don't really have much time for general baseball talk now. It's about to wrap up, but American League, even hey man, this like we said, this is going to be a great division, man. Even the Sox
Yeah.
are in second right now.
Sox are in second, yeah.
They're off to a good start too.
Yeah, no, they're
Which
good.
which is interesting to think about.
Guardians 7-2. American League West is kind of the Astros have had a really. I mean, they're 3-7. I think losing that series against the Yankees was kind of interesting, but they'll probably bounce back.
I'm surprised Miami was off to this bad of a start.
Miami, yeah, 1-9 to start
Yeah.
the season. Yankees go into a series with them starting tonight.
Ooh, damn. You guys are gonna
but
feast
yeah.
on that.
I'm excited, man. It's a great time to be a Yankees fan right now.
Yeah, no, oh yeah, next series it's against the Marlins, the Guardians, then the Jays again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We'll check back in next week, see how it goes.
I'm super excited for this series at the end of the week. Just for the AL East, this is gonna be fun.
What is it?
O's Yankees.
Ooh.
I was just super excited for that series. This year it's going to be really fun as long as the Yankees stay healthy and stuff, and the Orioles
Yeah.
just build on next season. That's going to be some great series, man.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's Beyond the Box Score. We'll catch you next week.
See you guys.
Bye.